Although vampires could suppress this to some extent, they could never completely get rid of it, especially not in front of other vampires. But for this time, he met a person who had no scent at all. Because of this, he couldn't identify this mysterious person or even guess his race. This made him a bit more careful around this suspicious person. Quinn, on the other hand, had no clue of his suit's side effects. While wearing the mask, he wasn't able to use his nose to its full capacity. The suit that blocked out the sun was also blocking out his smell. Quinn's mind was occupied with other things right now. He was trying to decide if he had to kill this person or not. The question was, had Peter attacked this person to try and eat him? And did the person manage to defend himself and also tie Peter up with his ability? Or had nothing happened yet, and had this person randomly attacked Peter and then tied him up? For some reason, Peter was very calm right now. This was not what Quinn had been expecting, because before he lost all sense of control over Peter through their bond. Quinn's identity was still a secret, at least for now. His number one priority was getting Peter out of the situation and back to their dorm room. He could deal with any other issues later. Quinn had a feeling, from the way Fex was moving, that he was being cautious. If Quinn was going to dash for it to get Peter out, the most likely outcome would be that the fight was going to break out. If that was the case, it would be best if Quinn first found out his ability. Inspect. Name, Fex Sanguinus. Race, vampire. After seeing the information, Quinn froze for a bit. He had to reread it twice just to make sure what he saw was correct. After what the blonde vampire in the system had said he knew, there had to be other vampires out there, but he never expected to see one in the same school as him. Then, a horrible thought ran through his mind. He remembered what the blonde vampire in the system had told him. Now that he was a vampire, they would come after him and be careful of them. It was too soon. Quinn didn't even know how strong he was compared to other vampires. If this new vampire wanted to take Peter away, then he could have him. Quinn wanted to change things, but that wasn't going to be possible with him dead. But when Quinn tried to run away, something inside of him gave him a jolt. A force was pulling him towards Peter and refusing to let him leave. At the same time, Peter was feeling the same thing. Quinn then fell on one knee, breathing heavily. "What is this?" Quinn asked. "It's your family bond," the system explained. "The two of you are bonded by the magic of your blood. Similar to how Peter can never harm you as his master, you can never desert him." "What is this vampire family?" Quinn said as he got up from the floor. If he couldn't run away without Peter, then he only had one choice. Skill Shadow Cloak activated. Right in front of Fex's eyes, his opponent had disappeared, and without giving off any smell, it was hard for him to locate this person. "So it looks like you're going to try and fight me. Well, you made the wrong decision." Suddenly, a tingling feeling he felt in his neck alerted him that something was coming. A claw-like blood mark randomly came out from his right side, and behind it, several more followed. However, before the attack left Quinn's hands, Fex was able to retaliate. "Blood barrier!" Swiping his hands upward, a thin red barrier was formed. As each swipe hit the barrier, it would shake a little, but was completely unaffected by the attack. But seeing Quinn's attack made Fex realize something. The attack produced just now was a blood swipe. It was the same basic skill all vampires were required to learn. "Wait! You're a vampire! We're on the same side! Stop!" Fex shouted. Even though Quinn could hear Fex's words, he chose to ignore them over the systems. This whole night might have been an act. Daze. Daze skill faded. Quinn was hoping the Daze skill would go through, allowing him to flash step behind his opponent and perform a hammer strike, but it failed to make him change plans. Putting both of his hands together, Quinn formed a larger blood swipe, throwing out a single large attack. "Look, if this ghoul belongs to your family, maybe I can help you. We can figure out something together." Seeing the red line of attack, Fex had no choice. He too placed both hands together and let out a blood swipe of his own. Only his was significantly larger than Quinn's. As the two blood swipes collided, Fex consumed Quinn's and carried on going forward. The only thing Quinn could do was use his flash step to avoid the attack. Quinn then activated his boots. If his blood swipe wasn't strong enough, then he would need to rely on his speed. He went in close and threw out a fist performing blood spray at the same time. However, each attack was deflected by Fex. After seeing Quinn struggling in hand-to-hand combat, Fex found everything quite strange. Does he not even know the basic martial arts? It was something all vampires were required to learn, but Quinn was throwing his punches out quite randomly. But then he also knew some advanced skills, such as the flash step, so he couldn't be a beginner. "If you keep going like this, you'll die before giving me a chance to help you," Fex said with urgency in his voice. Quinn had used up a lot of his HP, just trying to hit Fex even once, but nothing seemed to be working. "Just get out of here," Peter shouted. "Leave me, there's no point in both of us dying." Once again, Fex was confused, but this time by the ghoul. If they belonged to the same family, the blood bond wouldn't allow one to be deserted in time of need. With nothing working, Quinn only had one choice. He threw out a blood swipe and caught it using his shadow control. With the scythe being held in his hands and his suit of armor and mask on, he truly looked like a Grim Reaper. "Is that the shadow ability? But that's been lost for years," Fex said. "Just who is this guy?" Suddenly, a beep was heard coming from all three of their watches. As they looked down, they noticed the time was 9:45. It was the 15-minute warning sound telling them curfew time was coming. Running as fast as he could, Vorden desperately tried to catch up with Quinn, who was running in front. However, no matter how fast he went, he couldn't keep up, and he even lost sight of Quinn. He could no longer be seen in the vicinity. Nevertheless, he didn't give up, because he knew that Quinn would need him once they found Peter. Beep! When he was only a short distance away from the park, where he assumed Quinn was heading, his watch lit up, and the sound of notification was heard. When he looked at the watch, the time stated that it was 9:45. This meant that they only had 15 minutes before curfew time. In most cases, it wouldn't be so bad, since students would just be brought in and be punished a little. But for Quinn and Vorden, who were already suspected of perpetrating a murder, it would look suspicious if the two of them were out a night after curfew and didn't have a good reason for it. Knowing this, Vorden had no choice but to turn around and head back to the dorms. He had to trust that Quinn would find Peter and catch up to him in time. Seeing the message on the watch, Quinn started to panic. If he wanted to make it back in time, he would need to leave now. He didn't have time to rescue Peter. Once again, when Quinn tried to move, he was stopped by the bond. He tried to force through, but it was pulling him down to the ground. Fex could see something was up. "Hey, we need to get back, right?" Fex said. "That skinny guy said something about being in our rooms before 10. I don't know why you're attacking me, but you need to understand we're on the same side." Fex looked at Peter and had a little hunch on what the latter was thinking, but it wasn't something he could confirm right now. "Look, you aren't meant to be here, neither am I, so I won't tell anyone about you. I'll leave it in your hands, but if you need any help, then I suggest that you come to me." Soon after, a cloud of mist filled the air where Fex was once standing. After the mist started to disappear, it looked like Fex was vanishing away with it.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.